Oh, hey, don't mind me, I'm just drinking my green juice. Well, thank you for joining me and welcome, because today there's a reason I'm wearing green and drinking the green juice. We're talking about the alkaline diet and the importance of alkalinity. And I want to kind of plant my foot here and stake my position on this, because the reality is that there's simply a lot of controversy about this, because a lot of people, a lot of medical professionals say there's no science to show the validity of the alkaline diet. So before I begin, let me just answer this question, that question or that kind of rebuttal. And this actually came about because I think it was on like CNN.com, where a dietitian had said there's no validity or there's no scientific research that shows the alkaline diet is any better than any other diet. And that got me thinking. I was like, wow, that's a big statement, because essentially what you're saying is there is no scientific research that shows eating more vegetables and fruits is good for you. That's a bold claim, right? Because that's essentially what the alkaline diet is about eating more plant-based foods. It's not about becoming a vegan. If you want to, totally cool, but it's about eating more plants. Why? Because plants provide the highest source of alkaline minerals, which make your foods alkaline or acidic. So just to give you a quick little rundown, a food is acidic in terms of how it's metabolized by the body if it gives off more protein and phosphorus than it does potassium, calcium, and magnesium, which are three big and powerful alkaline minerals. So meat, eggs, dairy, those are all very acidic because they contain more protein and phosphorus than those minerals. Dairy does have a lot of calcium, but it has huge amounts of phosphorus and protein that skews it, right? Not a lot of people think about that. Vegetables, very low protein, very low phosphorus, but very high in those alkaline minerals. So here, I want to give you 5 reasons to consider greening up your diet. I mean, this shouldn't be rocket science, right? It's like, we all know to eat greens. Well, why? If you've read my book, The All-Day Energy Diet, this alkaline foundation is hugely important to not only having more energy that I'll talk about here, but there's 5 specific things I want to talk about in this video. So the first one has to do with your bones, okay? So bone health. The reason alkalinity is really important for bone health is that your bones produce or break down bone throughout the day. And a big factor in that is the pH in and around the bone area. When your pH drops, when it becomes more acidic, there's higher activity of cells called osteoclasts, which break down bone, okay? When the pH is higher, so more alkaline, the studies have shown that there's more activity of the osteoblasts, which are bone builders, and less activity of the bone destroyers. So just simply from a bone perspective, that's pretty important. But the other thing too to consider is that if your body is very acidic, then you have alkaline buffers like bicarbonate, for instance, in your body to deal with that. But that can very easily become overwhelmed. So what ends up happening is that your body then turns to calcium from your bones and teeth, taking it out of them to come in and buffer out all that extra acidity. So if your diet is huge in animal products and grains and sugars, right? Not enough vegetables, this can become an issue, especially if you're not doing any kind of weight-bearing exercise or exposing yourself to sunlight on a regular basis. So that's the first reason why it's important to alkalize your body. The second, this is not a rock formation, okay? This is supposedly a cancer cell. Okay? That's my rendition of a cancer cell. So Otto Warburg, 1931, won a Nobel Prize for showing that cancer only grows in acidic environments that do not have oxygen. And basically the relationship is this: where there is acid, there is no oxygen. And where there is alkalinity, there is oxygen. So he showed that in petri dishes, that when you want to kind of grow a cancer cell, you put it into an acidic environment where it thrives on sugar as its main fuel source, versus an alkaline environment that is much more pristine and actually uses oxygen as its predominant fuel source. You cannot grow cancer. So inside the body, again, this is very controversial, right? You go to your doctor and they'll say this is complete nonsense, right? Oh, your chemotherapy, radiation, whatever. But the interesting thing is this: when you see cancer patients who are stage 4 or terminal or whatever, that's when they start turning to alternative therapies like cleansing or green juice therapy, stuff like that. And there's a reason for that, right? Because when you naturally infuse your body with alkaline foods and nutrients and lots of oxygen as a result, but also getting rid of a lot of these toxins, that's how you prevent disease. That's how you get over disease. And I'm not saying that a green juice is going to help prevent cancer. It's certainly going to help, right? And it's certainly going to help a lot more than milkshakes and Coca-Cola, okay? So that's another thing to consider. The third thing is simply just more micronutrients. Micronutrients are simply vitamins and minerals. So I want to show you two things. This is a liter of green juice, okay? And I've got my fancy straw here. Liter of green juice, I've got, I don't know how much kale, celery, carrots, cucumber, apple. Are you telling me that this is not like a liquid infusion that is far more potent than a multivitamin? Absolutely, I would rather have this any day, because this is whole food, more or less minus the fiber, real nutrients that have not been processed in some kind of plant. They do come from plants, but not the other plants, like the processing plant that I'm talking about. So in liquid form, for instance, in a green juice, there's no fiber to get in the way in terms of absorbing these micronutrients into your body. So when we're looking at things like kale, as an example, kale, huge amounts of organosulfurs, which are specific compounds that are so well studied and established to prevent things like cancer. Right? You don't get those minerals those nutrients unless you're drinking and eating greens and lots of veggies. And it's not as easy to eat a lot of vegetables. That's why I like to juice a lot. So if I can have a liter of green juice in a day, that's a huge win. The other thing is that, well, what if you're not juicing? What if you can't juice? What if you're on the go? Well, that's why so many of you have been asking me about greens powders, and that's why we developed our energy greens. So this one here, just want to give you an example. 1 tablespoon has 740% of your daily requirement of vitamin C. 740% in 1 tablespoon. Okay, good luck getting that from an orange even, right? So this is hugely important, because if you're getting these nutrients into your body, then you end up having stronger bones. Then you end up helping to prevent disease. Then you end up staying healthy and looking younger and feeling amazing. But you don't get micronutrients from pills. I mean, you can, but why when you can get them from real food? And the best sources, the highest nutrient density, is coming from plant foods. So that's number 3. Number 4 is a lightning bolt. That's right. Red Bull doesn't give you wings. Alkalinity gives you wings. I'm telling you, if you follow my all-day energy diet, you'll know within 5 days or 7 days that you feel like a new person. And that's because when you alkalize your body, you naturally improve the environment inside your body so that your body is able to function as it should. Falling asleep after work, falling asleep at your desk after lunch, or feeling tired all the time, those are not normal things to have happen. That's because the body internally is just struggling with stuff. It's dealing with junk. And when you get rid of that junk and put in and infuse it with micronutrients and oxygen through these really good quality foods, you feel 1,000 times better. Okay? Number 5 is performance. I wish I had known this stuff when I was playing pro soccer, because what a difference I would have made. So as a pro soccer player, and even as a young teenager going up in the ranks, I was eating breads, pastas, cereals all the time, and I was feeling like crap. I was tired, my body was broken down, I was all stiff and sore. Only several years later did I learn about this stuff, and now that I don't play anymore, but I still train pretty heavily in terms of like my own stuff. I just feel so much better. I recover faster. It almost feels like my body has more oxygen to use in my workouts. Now, I'm not saying you should go run a marathon just drinking green juices, but when you provide your body with alkalinity, it helps to buffer out the acidity that's created through exercise. When you move your body, you create acidosis. Think of lactic acid in your muscles that burn, right? Well, if you add more acidity into that as a result of eating acidic foods, like lots of meats, lots of grains, lots of sugar, it's only adding gas to the fire. So by getting more alkalinity in, more greens, more green juices, green smoothies, vegetables, fruit, you start to help fight away a lot of that acidosis. And we know that acidosis is not just related to this stuff, but it's related to gout, related to joint issues, all sorts of things. So even though there's no quote-unquote scientific study to show that the alkaline diet shows X, just look for research that shows eating more fruits and vegetables reduces your risk of heart disease, reduces your risk of all mortality, reduces your risk of cancer, blah, 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 blah. That's all you have to remember. Right? I'm not saying you have to become a raw fruitarian or a vegan. I'm just asking you to eat more plant foods. Does that work for you? Awesome. 5 things. So now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in our next training video.